Hello and welcome to Just Hoops. Memphis as the 2 seed is matched up with the Los Angeles Lakers in the first round of the NBA playoffs. This matchup caused fireworks during the regular season, both on and off the floor. This matchup would be fun to dive into as the Lakers are playing their best ball of late, and the Grizzlies have found a way to be solid from start to finish of the season, regardless of things happening to them on and off the floor. So now let's dive into both teams, starting with the Memphis Grizzlies. So in terms of the numbers, they found a way to be a top 2 to 3 defense in the NBA throughout the season. They're top 10 in effective field goal percentage, top 10 in assist to turnover ratio, and they've been solid all year long. To talk about the Lakers, we have to look at their last 15 games. They're 6th in offensive rating, 8th in defensive rating, 4th in rebound percentage, and 9th in true shooting over this 15-game stretch, and they're really finding their own right now with the new look roster. So now let's dive into the film and see what's going to happen in this playoff series between the 2 and 7 out west. So to start, I think it's best to dive into some key matchups, starting with Vando versus Ja Morant. I believe that this will be the matchup the Lakers go to try to slow down Ja Morant. In terms of Vando and his ability to guard, he's holding his opponent to 25% shooting in isolation situations. He is their primary ball handler defender. You can see from the jump when they've traded for him, he guarded Luka, Kawhi, DeMar. In the play-in game, Anthony Edwards, he is one of the most versatile defenders in basketball. The way he is able to take all these matchups head on, be aggressive, be physical, use his size and length, stay in front, make plays happen, force turnovers, block shots. He does it all, and he's been a major part of the defensive turnaround for the Lakers and then moving into the top 10 of that last stretch of the season. I'm excited to see a matchup against Ja Morant in terms of trying to slow him down and prevent easy paint touches and preventing him from getting anywhere he wants on the floor. But now to talk about the other half of the matchup and talk about Ja. In his last 15 games, he's averaged 20 points per game, shooting 49% from the field, 7.4 assists, and he's just been getting into a flow again, being that big-time playmaker he is, the way he gets downhill, his float game, his finishing ability, his just overall feel and pace for the game is phenomenal. He gets to the rim 40% of the time and mid-range 39% of the time in terms of his shot frequency, and he shoots a respective 62% from the rim and 43% from mid-range. He is one of the most talented players in the association. I'm excited to see him in the playoffs again, but Vando is definitely going to present challenges. Now to talk about another matchup, Dillon Brooks versus LeBron James. Dillon Brooks is one of the most pesty, hardworking defenders in the NBA. The way he gets up into guys is physical, aggressive, and he's not afraid to get into your face. The way he plays basketball is definitely a guy that sets the tone, is a glue guy, and he just plays hard all the time. To put some numbers on it, in terms of guarding the pick and roll ball handler, they're shooting 36.4% on those plays, and in isolation situations, he's holding his opponent to 34.1% from the field. He's an elite defender. He really does a good job at staying in his stance, being that physical, aggressive force wherever he is on the floor against whatever matchup, typically guarding the primary ball handler for the other team. But I'm excited to see him match up against LeBron James in a playoff setting for the Memphis Grizzlies. LeBron James is still LeBron James. He is one of the most dominant forces the game has ever seen, and it's been seen in the last 15-game stretch, averaging 25.3 points per game, shooting 48 from the field, 40 from 3, 6.1 assists. In terms of his shot frequency, he gets to the rim 42% of the time, mid-range 30% of the time, 28% of the time from beyond the arc. He's shooting 75% at the rim, 38% from mid, and 33% from beyond the arc. LeBron James is one of the best players we've ever seen to play the game. He's expanded his game this season the most in terms of knocking down the three ball, getting to the mid-range, not always going to the rim, but Dillon Brooks will definitely have his hands full, having to stay connected and make LeBron work for everything. And the last matchup that's going to be key in this series is Anthony Davis versus Jaren Jackson Jr. In AD's last 15 games, he's averaged 25.4 points per game, shot 56.6 from the field, gathering up 12.9 rebounds and 1.7 blocks per game. He's a big-time second and first level guy where he is getting 46% of his shots from the mid-range, 47% of his shots from the rim. He's shooting 76% at the rim and 44% from mid. Anthony Davis is starting to look again like Anthony Davis, and it's exciting to see him doing what he's doing at both ends of the floor, and he's definitely going to be a handful for Jaren Jackson. But to talk more about Jaren Jackson Jr., he is one of the most elite defenders in the game, but in this last 15-game stretch, he showed the offensive end also, scoring 25.5 points per game, shooting 57 from the field, 41 from 3, 7.4 rebounds, 2.6 blocks a game. He's shooting 66 at the rim, 48 from mid, and 36 from beyond the arc. Jaren Jackson is such a special talent at both ends of the floor, and Memphis is using him in more unique ways. Anthony Davis is going to be challenged with guarding him on the perimeter, in the second level, and at the rim. The way he is able to handle the ball, his jump shot is definitely one of the more accurate for his position, and they move him a ton in terms of cutting, slashing, using him off screens as a screen setter. The variety of situations he's put in and the variety of ways he is used in all these situations will definitely be hard for Anthony Davis, but overall this matchup will be a key determinant of the series. So to dive into more of the scouting side of things, the Lakers' first primary attack is a ball screen. With Anthony Davis and LeBron James, putting them in action together is definitely a recipe for success, and this is their first spacing we'll talk about. Two-man spacing weak, a loaded corner behind them, loaded corner lifts, two-man side. If one guy's a slasher, not really a shooter, he'll load the porch, and the other guy moves. If they're both shooters, find cracks. But in terms of the defensive side of things, I think Memphis should go to an over and flat drop. Stay connected to the ball over the top. Have the show there ready to just deter LeBron James from getting to the rim, but dropping below Anthony Davis, playing a cat and mouse game with him so he doesn't get easy paint points. And then I really want to see help from the two-man side, the top side guy. That guy can load up the elbow nail area, prevent LeBron James from getting easy paint, and can definitely be a good way to slow down paint touches and make it harder on them. Next, we're going to talk about their two-man game stuff where they're on the empty side of the floor. They love their elbow touches. They love getting the ball there, turning, playing off that with action on the three-man side. But in terms of guarding this, I believe that they need to cover as much as possible 2v2. Keep it in that action. Load the nail and be active in the gap. That same as we said in their loaded side ball screen, where the nail is going to be an active part of whatever they do. I think loading the nail will make paint touches harder for the ball handler. And then the same thing with the drop. I think that he needs to stay below the roll man to prevent him from getting catch and shot opportunities easy. But the low man has to be ready to load up, be active, plug the rim, take a charge, and make plays happen deep in the paint. And the last attack point I want to talk about for the Lakers is their post play. Both Anthony Davis and LeBron James are masters in this area of the floor, the second, first level, having post moves in their bag and willing and able to take mismatches head on down here. How Memphis should guard this, in my opinion, is playing 1v1 straight up. Xavier Tillman, Jaren Jackson Jr. can both wall up, be very solid individual defenders on the interior and in these post situations, so I will trust them. I think Taylor Jenkins trusts them too, so that'll be the first step of slowing this down. But in terms of off the ball, the Lakers have this 4-wide spacing. They like cuts coming from the passer in a Laker cut or from the middle of the top three guys on a dive. To prevent any of this from really affecting them, I think everybody on the perimeter has to stay home. Keeping athletes on the perimeter to cover space, deny passes, react and bump cutters is definitely an essential part to slowing this down. Yes, at the end of the day, Memphis in this coverage style would make LeBron James and Anthony Davis have to play 1v1, and they're more than capable of doing so. But I think that those opportunities are a lot harder shot quality than giving up open threes on the perimeter because you send help and you're stuck in recovery the rest of the possession. It's definitely going to be a challenge for them to guard these matchups, but I believe at the end of the day, they have the guys that can do it and the guys that can cover space on the perimeter. Now to flip sides of the floor and talk about the Grizzlies' attack points. It all starts with Ja Morant and their pick and roll game. Spacing wise, it's typically a loaded corner and a two-man side wide. They attack both with a traditional and step-up screens, and they like shooters being in the next pass positions. So it makes the gaps have to work, and they have variety in the ways they attack. In terms of guarding this, they need to stay in front. They need to not allow Ja to touch paint and get easy opportunities down at the rim. Memphis, when they touch paint, they get going. And then 3-man actions are going to be very hard for them to stay connected. There's a lot of action going toward the ball. 3 guys in a ball screen action. They like movement off the ball. The Grizzlies have one of the most flow offenses, and it's going to be very tough for the Lakers to guard overall. My idea would be switch as much as possible, so you're always having somebody connected to someone. And then with the big, I think it's going to be a show and under. Make Ja Morant have to bounce back initially, and then having his guy get under and make it tough for him to get paint points and paint touches overall. But at the end of the day, with this pick and roll game that they're matching up with, they have to be ready for everything. There's a ton of movement, ton of different screeners, off ball, on ball movement, 3 guys in a ball screen. There's just so much going on at once that they just need to stay connected, communicate, and make the smart plays happen time and time again. So now to pivot, the next thing that they have to worry about is when the ball gets out rotationally. The Grizzlies do a great job at moving that ball around, zipping it, playing with pace, playing off of each other. So the Lakers have to get set early. When the Grizzlies offense isn't playing with pace, it could get stagnant at times. I think the Lakers really have to lean into that and force Grizzlies to make plays in the half court. Stay connected off the rock. The help side and positioning will be crucial for the Lakers, especially when the Grizzlies do touch paint. Paint touches produce great shot opportunities for the Grizzlies time and time again, and that's why they have the 6th best assist to turnover ratio in the NBA. And only help when necessary. If you can keep it a one-on-one matchup, trust your guy to guard his yard, be solid individually at the point, and prevent them from getting by and then forcing you to get into rotation quickly in a possession. And then be willing to switch off the ball and zone up when their movement and actions are happening. It'll just allow the Lakers to stay in their positioning, make it tough for the Grizzlies to find advantages, and it'll just slow them down a little bit. The more you're able to slow down this Memphis offense and put them in a grog a little bit, put them in the mud, I think it'll be better for the Lakers overall, and it could force some turnovers, allow the Lakers to get out and run and make some plays on the break. So to wrap things up, let's talk about those matchups again quick. Jared Vanderbilt versus Ja Morant will be huge for the Lakers. Dillon Brooks versus LeBron James will be huge for the Grizzlies. But the pinnacle matchup will be Anthony Davis versus Jaren Jackson Jr. This matchup will definitely be a huge determinant in who wins this series. And then some keys to the series are first winning the half court. Both teams love getting up and down, so the team that can win the half-court possessions will be in a terrific spot in winning the series. The team that wins the glass, both are great rebounding teams, so the team that can win that battle a night will definitely have an upper hand in winning that game. And then late game situations. The team that can stay more composed and make winning plays to close games will be in a great spot for the series. Both teams have their dudes, with the Grizzlies having Ja, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bane, and the Lakers having LeBron and Anthony Davis. So who can stay composed, play through adversity, and make winning plays in the clutch? This series is going to be a really fun one between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Los Angeles Lakers, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, learned something about both teams prior to the playoffs tipping off this weekend. So for more content like this, please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you in the next one.